I'm Ivan Rodrigues, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Economic Times Artificial Intelligence and Internet of Things Summit 2019. We now move on to a video address titled Using Artificial Intelligence and the Internet of Things to Monitor the Environment. And this video address via Skype is by Dr. Steve Chin, head of the Artificial Intelligence Group and a senior research scientist at JPL, NASA.
Thank you very much, and greetings from Los Angeles, California. I want to specifically talk about volcano monitoring in the Internet of Things. We were able to take these sensors and deploy them to this very hostile environment on the Mount St. Helens volcano. We had to air deploy these sensors because it's very dangerous. You can't just hike up this volcano. And these sensors, these spider nodes, are actually quite smart. We actually deployed them all over this volcano, and they have self-networking capability. They figure out how to route the data to get it off the mountain. And these nodes can dynamically network in order to get the data away, which is very important to relay the data because you might obviously lose nodes in a volcanic eruption. What are other sensors that we use in this Internet of Things, in this sensor web? Well, we use a large number of different satellites. The GOES satellites are weather satellites that are in geostationary orbits. In the future are we going with this? Well, we're showing that we can in fact track different marine events, and someday we will enable robots to roam around the seafloor for commercial purposes, to search for mineral resources and conduct science on the ocean floor. The same techniques can be used for many commercial applications to study traffic in cities, to use machine learning to help conduct commerce. The sky is literally the limit in terms of the future of AI and the Internet of Things to revolutionize our society. Thank you once again for your time.
With that, we move on to the panel discussion titled Gearing Up Your Organization for AI and IoT. And it's my pleasure to welcome on stage the moderator for this panel, Anchal Arora, Director, Digital Consulting, KPMG. Kindly put your hands together for Anchal.
You've been on the other side of the equation where you're helping, your organization, Gaia, is helping a lot of digitization in the smart cities and railways and airports. So if you could share your experience on how that journey has been.
One of my platforms is collecting simple customer feedback from more than 100 cities. And the amount of data that we are collecting is actually helping the governance of how, very simple use case, how bathrooms are cleaned. More than $7 billion is spent every year cleaning, but nobody's monitoring it. We have put sensors and collect data, and we advise the cities what to do and take corrective action. Now that has caused a lot of improvement in the services. We still want people to interact with the data and take the decisions, but can data aid the decision making faster? Can data be modeled to give insights to our customers? So we are working on this whole concept of measurement and then analytics to give insights to our customers so that people are able to take better decisions when they come to it. We integrate the human aspect and the machine aspect together. So one of the things that we have done is to integrate how do you capture information from people as well? There's a lot of IoT companies who will say, I capture only machine information. But there is a lot of information we are missing because we are not asking the person who was automating it or who was working on that machine what was going wrong at that point in time. We are working to categorize what is your feedback. We are building systems which can switch on, switch off lights without requiring a Siri or an Alexa behind. So these are the things that are happening where AI and IoT are coming together.
I think talking about solutions that are being provided by so many vendors, and when Samit, this is for you in terms of how do you evaluate the kind of solutions that are there in the market. Everybody is doing pilots, right? But how do you really evaluate those pilots and take it to scale?
The principle has been very simple for us. We've said that if there's something which is more commoditized, which is available in the market, let's say if we want to do, if there's something, some solution available for, let's say, commodities, in which case we will not really go about trying to do too much. We'll try and take what's available in the market and then see whether it fits, how it fits, and go ahead with it. But stuff which is closer to the manufacturing process or closer to our operations, we actually start ground up. And that's when we do the POCs, okay? Now, two types of problems. One's the scaling. So that's principally how the POCs are identified. And we've had some failures, the same fail fast, fail quick, move on. So scaling is something which we have to adapt and then adopt. We just can't be saying, okay, I've got success here, so I'll just move it out here. It doesn't happen. We failed also in that. So we've actually said that we try and have clear parameters in the POC. If the POC is successful, then we take it up for scaling, and then we look at scaling it up. And that's how we went about with the entire journey.
You've handled some very large AI implementations, both as part of your experience at Twitter as well as for a large global products company. So if you could share a little bit about that and also talk about, why do AI implementations fail?
The main thing to keep in mind is that the end user needs to be your champion. It may be the CXOs who are buying the product, but if the end user is not the champion, then it's very hard for the POC or the product to be successful. So one thing we keep in mind is that to always involve the actual end user right from the beginning of the product development. That way they know what they're getting into, they know how to use it, and they know how to champion that. The other is that a couple of times people fail to tie it to a business problem. So AI, we are not implementing tech for the sake of implementing tech, right? At the end of the day, it has to solve a business problem. And the third thing is that companies underestimate the amount of involvement that's needed from the company. So a lot of times it's not something you can outsource to a third party or to a consultant, because the people inside the company are the domain experts in it. So there's a ton of feature engineering that needs to be done. There's a ton of work.
Right.
So they need to be completely collaborate and completely involved in the creation of the product.
I wanted to understand your experience in terms of what are the roadblocks to a wider AI adoption.
I would think that roadblocks can broadly be categorized into three categories. First is culture, second is compliance, and when I talk of compliance, I consider ethics, laws altogether, and third is cost. In a lot of organizations, the problem is AI has cult status. It needs to be converted into religion, more prosaic, more boring. Other thing is, culturally, for everybody to realize that AI is not a rule-based software. Means it's decisions, it's probabilistic, and it will make mistakes. What you need to decide based on is the AI engine making fewer mistakes, and is it cheaper? Compliance part, it's been talked about a lot. There is a very big recent story in the AI world where OpenAI launched a product or launched a software which could write fake news which would be more believable than real news. And they pulled it out immediately. Right? So there are lots of these compliance ethics issues. Lastly, cost, which is something that our side of the table needs to address. That why is SaaS-based CRM, ERP so cheap now? But AI products are more expensive. There's absolutely no reason for that. And then we go and say that for 3 months, 6 months, we'll do this big data science exercise. So we have created the threshold to adoption so high, and that is something that people on our side of the boundary table should address for sure.
With that, we move on to the next presentation titled Leveraging AI and Data Science for Industry 4.0. And it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium Ganesh Iyer, Chief Technology Officer, Knowledge Lens. Kindly put your hands together for Ganesh Iyer.
There are two trends that we are seeing in the industry, right? One is machines becoming more and more smarter. That is one trend. The second trend is for machines that are legacy. The automation majors are coming up with ways to make them plug and start sending the data out, right? So that could be through protocols that they're integrating. That could be through devices that they're putting together. But the whole goal is not to have these machines work in silos anymore, but have them start communicating with your industrial network or even with other machines. So that's the part where you'll see machine-to-machine interactions happening. The problem earlier was how do you even collect and store this data and process it at scale? That's where the whole big data paradigm came in. And I think that part of the problem, I think, is now largely getting addressed. But the challenge is, okay, now I've got all this data. Now how do I start correlating this data, all this data that is coming from sensors, with what is available in the enterprise, and then start applying intelligence on top of that, right?
I believe the next wave of AI tech is going to be in aiding humans. It's not going to replace humans, but more and more start aiding humans in like regular work. So for instance, what we are working on is an aiding customer service agents. We believe the scope for that is like huge, like for instance in medical counselors and things like that. There's a ton of scope because humans can process only so much, whereas AI has this ability to like process through like tons of data. We believe there's a ton of opportunity there simply because most people who talk to a customer service end up being frustrated. At least that's my experience. And one of the reasons people are frustrated because the customer service agents don't have the right information in front of them at the right time because they'll have to search through. I mean, and if an AI can aid that because it has the context, it knows where to look for. If it can aid in the information extraction process, then the customer service agent can go and concentrate on the conversation instead of looking up data, doing this manual task.
The disruptions in AI has come out quite well in the industry today. Enterprises are embarking on this smart journey quite well now, and we see that the possibilities are endless right now. With the merger of IoT and AI coming together, the things have started shaping quite well. We see that every enterprises are experimenting with AI. There are a lot of digital new possibilities which has opened up because how AI can sit on top of the IoT data which is coming through and giving more intelligent insights into it. The whole world is moving towards an automated decision making process, and that's kind of where the trend is, and it's opened up pretty much entire opportunities right from a manufacturer, the hardware side of it to a software side of it, and pretty much opening up opportunities for data scientists and even the mathematicians and others who are now becoming the whole package altogether in this digital revolution. Look at from the digital and AI and IoT, I think there is quite a bit of inversion because the hype is created by these large organizations like the tech companies and so on. So they have already created and led the wave of this hype. And what we see on the ground is those hypes are now getting discovered, and there is a huge opportunity up for grabs for mid and small size, because what we see is that unless you go for a pointed solution which adds business value, the solution doesn't really come fair, and the opportunities for small and medium size is very open because the tech is now pretty open. There are open stacks are available, and the digital revolution is now penetrated across small and medium enterprises.
Schindler Ahead is world's first of its kind in elevator and escalator industry, which gives a complete closed loop digital solution. So Schindler Ahead gives you benefits like higher uptime, it gives you lot of insights, and it also gives a real convenience. Now this is important for the user, it is also beneficial for the building owners, and it gives lot of important information to the facility manager who can access this information sitting any corner of the globe. IoT, Internet of Things technical capabilities allow the devices to manage large performance data, any impending failures within fraction of time and effort as compared to a normal situation for any technician.
As the Indian economy grows by leaps and bounds, a key challenge it faces is democratizing access to employment. With companies getting inundated with hundreds of applicants for every opening, it's more important than ever to create tools that intelligently and efficiently manage the right people for the right jobs. One company revolutionizing the employment space is Aspiring Minds. Their AI-powered talent evaluation tools for matching, assessing and interviewing talent is allowing corporations to locate the right workforce quickly and democratically while ensuring that everyone gets the opportunities that they deserve. To get a lowdown of Aspiring Minds' key messaging, we caught up with the co-founder and CEO, Himanshu Agarwal.
We all have talked about India's huge demographic advantage. This advantage is only an advantage if we can harness it. India's employment ecosystem has huge challenges: quality of talent, the spread of jobs, and just the sheer volume. We at Aspiring Minds believe that for a functioning ecosystem for such a large population, there needs to be a merit-driven, efficient, and scalable mechanism to match talent to opportunities. In 2008, we started building Aspiring Minds with the aim of creating technology to match talent. AI helps computers take decisions humans would be taking. If we study any recruitment process, from evaluating a resume to measuring their skills to interviewing, all these are traditionally done by humans and are time-consuming, expensive, and hard to be consistent. We have used AI extensively over the last 8 years, long before AI was a household name. We use it to automate recruitment decision-making, be it measuring spoken and written language skills, evaluating programming skills, automatically evaluating interviews, or matching applications to jobs. Our AI-powered products impact everywhere.
Aspiring Minds' enterprise-ready technology blends the power of artificial intelligence with the science of psychometrics, which helps to optimize the hiring process and create an engaging candidate experience.
I'm interested in computer programming, machine learning, and AI.
Their comprehensive suite of talent assessments enable anytime, anywhere, engaging, accurate, and fair hiring across all sectors. We had a chat with the co-founder and CTO Varun Agarwal to understand the scope of the digital tools used in Aspiring Minds' arsenal.
So AI is definitely, a huge piece that strings everything together. So what are the AI-based tools that, Aspiring Minds has built, and how have they evolved over the years as technologies evolved?
We've been using AI now since 2012. That was the first product which came out, which was called SWAR. SWAR is a speech evaluation test. So it basically, you have to talk to the test, you have to read certain sentences, repeat certain sentences, and then it can automatically generate scores on the pronunciation, fluency, and so on of the candidate. So this is a test which is very, very useful for any role which is evaluating spoken English, right? And if you look at sales, customer service, even managers and so on, spoken English is required pretty much in all these roles. So that was one of the first products we built. It has followed up with a string of products after that. So now we have a written English evaluation test, which is an essay grading test where the person writes an essay. We have an automatic email grading tool where not only does it check the content of the email, but can say whether the subject is written correctly, the greeting is written correctly, the sign-off is written correctly, and so on. And the most recent is AutoView, which is a video interviewing tool where we automatically read facial expressions, what the person has said, and give a grade.
But how accurate is your AI, and what is the kind of technologies you use to make sure that it's that accurate?
So these tools, how do we think about their accuracy, right? So generally all these tools are benchmarked against experts. When I'm looking at a programming evaluation, and what I will do to benchmark my AI would be that I will get the same codes graded by the machine and the same set of codes graded by human experts. In fact, 2-3 experts, because even between experts the rating varies, and then see how much these scores match, and you can get a fairly good accuracy in that.
But even in the latest, video interview tool that you're talking about, how do you really evaluate that, this is the right candidate and he's perhaps filling in the test or giving the answers in the right way?
The video interviewing tool, I find it very, very interesting, and that's because it pretty much works on all the different kind of data streams you can have. So it works on video, it uses the video stream, it draws out images out of the video, then it works on the speech of the candidate, then it automatically transcribes the speech to text and does text processing. And how the technology works is that from the images, we automatically derive the facial expressions. So we can say when the person is smiling, when he or she is becoming nervous, or getting confused or upset, and we can give social skills scores based on that. Then we automatically transcribe the answers using speech recognition, and then using natural language processing, we can say that how correct the answer is. So if we have asked the question, what is a credit card, I can grade on a scale of 1 to 5 whether the person gave the correct answer or not.
How do you make sure you are ahead of your competitors when you're designing tools so that they remain relevant for industries?
Aspiring Minds has been the leader in developing new age assessments, and why we are able to do it is that in my mind we bring three things together. One is our understanding of machine learning and AI. Second is our understanding of assessment science, which some people call psychometrics or industrial organization psychology. And the third is having a great technology platform. We are always in touch with the cutting edge and always thinking how to bring it in our product. So we have an internal research team which is separate from the software development and separate from the test development team, which kind of continues to push the envelope.
What are the different tools and products that you provide for different industries, and how are the needs of these industries different?
So we are primarily an assessment company, and we are providing AI-based assessment tools for helping companies select employees, do their performance appraisals, help them in learning and development. So there are some tools which apply to a wide variety of industries. So for example, if you look at the language tools or cognitive skills, which is also popularly known as aptitude tests, these skills are required in pretty much all industries and all kinds of employees. We can take a few examples to look at specific industries. For example, if you look at the IT industry, coding skills is very, very important. So there we have had this tool now for a few years, which is called Automator, which is a simulated test of coding skills. So here there's a test where the person actually writes the code and he or she can compile it, run it, and so on. And you can actually get an idea of how well someone writes code. And we use machine learning and AI to evaluate it. So we can evaluate the code similar to how a human interviewer would grade that code.
Aspiring Minds has developed and refined its assessment and interviewing products to serve global markets, assessing over 5 million candidates for more than 3,000 clients, including 150 Fortune 500 companies.
Over the years, we've been highly successful in deploying our technology globally. We touch over 5 million people every year, have 3,000 customers with over 100 Fortune 500 companies using our tools. The largest technology companies, not only in India, but in US, China, use our tools to evaluate hundreds of thousands of people every year. We operate offices in India, China, Philippines, and the US. The success, I would say, is attributed to our pragmatic approach of not saying use us because we are AI, but repeatedly, consistently demonstrating how our technology has high ROI, with dramatic reduction in hiring effort, time and cost, improving talent quality, and reducing attrition.
Today, Aspiring Minds products are available not only in English and regional Indian tongues, but also Mandarin, French, Spanish, and other European languages. Every year, the dedicated management team of Aspiring Minds continues to set the standards in talent evaluation technology and helps millions of candidates get their dream jobs and corporates their perfect employees.
It's a high-stake game. And having the right technology and choosing the right partner is very, very essential for a business. So we joined hand with Aspiring Mind more than a 12-month around April 2018. And I'm very, very happy to say it's a great fit. And you know, their technology platform is very agile, customizable, and very, very adaptive. Even we are able to put our domain into it, our very diverse geographical need to it. Their platforms such as situational judgment test, their ML-based language assessment have helped us to assess tons of people.
AI holds a lot of promise as far as recruitment and selection in organizations is concerned. It does away with the interviewer or selector's bias to a great extent. Second is its ability to compare candidates across a vast spectrum is far more than what could have been humanly possible. And the third is it is allowing us to take interviewing and selection into a asynchronous mode.
In this increasingly digitizing marketplace, what is the road ahead for Aspiring Minds and the organizations that rely on it?
Aspiring Minds, I think there are 2-3 different ways we think we are growing our business. First is remaining at the cutting edge of machine learning and AI. The second is that we are thinking about not only assessments, but the whole recruitment life cycle. So can we help you match resumes better using AI? Can we help you assess better using AI? Can we help you interview better using AI? And so on. So look at all the pieces in the life cycle of recruitment and make all of them more efficient and add more value using AI. Third strand is international expansion. So we started as an Indian company. We have been expanding globally for the last 3 to 4 years. We first started in Philippines, then went to China. Now we in the US. My co-founder and the CEO of the company works out of the US. So we believe we have globally competitive tools and we can sell them in any part of the world.
Companies today get thousands of applications for every job. Aspiring Minds has demonstrated that if matching of these people to jobs can be automated, it allows organizations to give equal opportunity to all on merit while significantly bringing down cost and effort. While we continue to maintain a technological and scientific edge, we are working aggressively to expand our footprint geographically as well as impact more jobs and industries. We believe Aspiring Minds will lead this industry globally in the coming years, and the innovation will make the job ecosystem robust and merit-driven.
With its innovative tech-first approach, Aspiring Minds is already well underway towards becoming a world leader in the employment space and providing cutting-edge solutions to the needs of a workforce-hungry market.